This is my camera. Let me know when you're ready.
This is Max.
Call me. One.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Triggs Table Talks. I'm Dr. Triggs, host of the Triggs Table Talks series, and today I have this great guest. She is a speaker, founder, newly minted author. She helps you to turn grief into a glow up. Today I have Donielle Young,
Yes.
the modern widow.
Yes.
What's going on, man?
Triggs, Dr. Triggs. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. We met during Urban Golf Weekend,
Yes.
and you pulled me aside. I was like, hey, this is what I got going on. I was like, yo, I got to have you on the podcast.
Yes,
you got to tell this story. You know what I'm saying?
And thank you for the follow through. That's amazing.
I may be a little slow when it comes to that kind of stuff, but if I said I'm down, I'm going to make it happen.
You made it happen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so, the biggest thing is you have like this incredible story, and I was wondering if you could share that with my viewers, and then we can like take a deep dive into like what you built, what you have going on, and like future projects and stuff you have happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a mom. I came from corporate finance, and I was married for 16 years.
Okay.
And 3 years ago, I lost my husband to stage 4 colon cancer.
Okay.
And it's crazy to say it was 3 years ago now. We're actually coming up on his death anniversary on October 18th.
Okay.
And so I went back to work at corporate finance, and I always knew I was a big fish in a little pond. But I worked with businesses and I worked with executives, and I was like, I don't want to do what you do.
Right.
It was too much pressure. And then I decided that I wanted to tell my story. And when I became a widow, there was no one on the screen that looked like me that was thriving, right? And so there's grief, and I get that, but you also want to see what now.
Right.
And so I didn't see her, so I created her.
Right.
And that's pretty much my story there.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Was he on the younger side? He seemed like it.
Yeah. He was. He got diagnosed when he was 47 years old.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it's the year Chadwick Boseman had passed away.
And that's what I was about to allude to. Like how young he was and when this happened, just like Chadwick.
Yeah. And that's the year that they actually lowered the age, is the year he passed away. But he was 47. He battled for 2 years. So it was terminal from the onset.
Right.
And then it took over his body, and so yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But being able to tell this story, how was it initially when you first started doing that? Like, what was the beginning stages of that? Like, I know you talked about how you were in corporate finance. So when did you start to tell this story?
Oh, wow. So I think I started telling it with like family and friends when, as the months went on, and I just kind of pulled up my bootstraps, and, I have a video on my Instagram of the duality of widowhood. And what I noticed is that people didn't understand. How are you able to cry for 3-4 hours and then get up and go to a party? And so some would do it from a judgment perspective, and then others would do it with a wow, like you're inspiring. And so I started realizing that I had a story to tell, because there were other women that were kind of in that middle that didn't want to stay in the grief space, that really wanted to thrive. And so I started talking about how I was doing it, and that's when kind of everything came about there.
Oh, that's super dope. Calling yourself the modern widow, what does that name represent to you?
Yes. So I just, when you think about widow, I think when a lot of people think about widow, you think about older people. Right. And then they think about the black veil and dark and gloomy. And I'm everything but that, even I always say I don't look like what I've been through, and I try very hard on that. And so that's where the modern widow came up. But I actually self-proclaim myself as the grief disruptor. So that's what I'm kind of using now to say I want to disrupt the narrative on grief and how you're living with grief right now.
I have a good question about that. So, recently we had the controversial figure that just passed away, Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
And, no matter what side of the spectrum you are, a death is a death, especially to go out like that. But a lot of controversy has been surrounding his wife and how she's like taken over his organization, and it doesn't seem like she's, quote unquote grieving, and people are giving a hard time for it. So, when you saying these things, it kind of makes me think of that. So what's your perspective of, how she's going about it, or just, what do you think about that?
Oh, wow. You went there.
I
He
did.
went
I had
there.
to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why this is Triggs Table Talks. You
Yes,
don't get this
exactly.
content
Because I
nowhere
have
else.
not spoken on this, on
But you've thought about it.
I thought about,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
So here's the thing. At the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was a husband, and his wife, I think it's Erica Kirk, lost her husband and the father of her children.
Right.
So regardless of who he is and what he represents, that family will never be the same. She will never be the same.
Right.
And the way that I look at it is that she gets to grieve any way that she chooses.
Right.
And until you have been there, until you have walked in those shoes, especially a tragic death like that,
Right.
you do not have a right. And I stand 10 toes down on, short of her murdering him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she gets to grieve however she chooses. And I think that is a great example to why I do what I do, is because I want to stand up and be a voice to not being judgmental. You're spending too much money. You're partying too much. You took a picture with I think she did with his casket or something like that. And they're really judging the way that her life is turned upside down.
Right.
Whether you agree with their politics or anything like that, she lost the father of her children no longer have a father.
Right.
And so she gets to grieve the way that she chooses, and I cast no judgment on that. Her character is in question, obviously, and it was in question prior to him, right?
Yeah.
So nothing changes once she starts grieving as far as her character, right? But she gets to grieve however she chooses.
No, I agree. So you've said your power didn't come after the pain, it came through. What does that transformation look like in real life? So what makes you say that, and how does that look?
Yeah, so I rebuilt through the grief and the grit. I made a decision, and I talk about this in my playbook. I made a decision that I was going to find a way to build a life around my grief. That I wasn't, and it's similar to what we did with the cancer, to be honest.
Right.
We didn't separate cancer. We said, okay, it's the cousin that nobody likes.
Right.
Like, come on in. We know we got to do doctor's appointments. We're just going to incorporate it in. And so, for your listeners, you don't heal from grief.
Right.
Grief will forever be with you, but you can learn how to build a life around grief.
Right. Gotcha. So the pain doesn't just end; it just evolves.
It just evolves. Yeah.
How do you feel about that quote? I think, what was it? Regina King, where she was like, "Grief is just love that you can't express anymore." I'm paraphrasing.
Yes. No, but you got it pretty much. I say that there's another guy that was on a Tonight Show. Oh my God, he had a beautiful rendition of it too. It's true. It's unexpressed love. Grief is a labor of love. And that's why I say it never leaves you. If you think about your loved one, if you lost a parent or a grandparent, are you ever going to stop loving them?
Right.
No. And that's why you grieve, because you lost something that you are attached to.
Right.
Now, it may not be as prominent, right? I don't feel the same as I did the year he passed or the day he passed. There are days that I do,
Right.
but it will forever be with me. So yeah, it's a beautiful love story, and it also is unexpressed love that I can no longer give to him and to that life.
Right.
So I agree with it 100%.
So tell us, you alluded to this. Tell us about your book, the G3 Playbook, Grief, Grit, Glow Up. What inspired you to turn that? Well, we've already kind of talked about turn that grief into a guide, but talk about the thought process and the actual challenges of putting that book together.
Yes, the challenge is dialing it back.
Okay. What do you mean by that, dialing?
Because I have a lot to say.
You should just put it all out there.
No. So that would be a book, right?
Okay.
So a playbook is like more of a guide, more condensed. It's a digital ebook.
I got you.
So it's practical steps, and so it tells me that a book is coming for sure.
Okay.
But it's been in the works anyway for a while.
That was my next question, by the way. So when's the book coming? Yeah. Okay.
Stop it! That's not nice. But yeah, it's been a labor of love, and it's been me kind of walking through what did I feel in those stages, and what does it take for someone to get to the glow up phase. What I do know is that we are out here. Black widows are underrepresented,
Right.
and death does not discriminate. And it's not just for Black widows, but I just wanted to stake claim to that they're out here and they're thriving. And so some of them just need that little bit of push to figure out, okay, how do I get through this messy stuff and get to the glow up and to the other side where I can find joy again and not have so much guilt and shame with it. And so when I was writing it, I started thinking about the chapters and the practical steps that they could take to kind of help them through that process, to get them through to the glow up, basically.
Gotcha. So from your book, is there like one practical step that someone that isn't necessarily grieving or have lost someone close to them that they can take from that and apply to their own life to help with their own transformation?
Yes. I can be a little mean, not nice in the book, which I found from someone else because I said stop lying to yourself. Okay. So one of my practices is getting to your baseline. So get to the core of you. Now, what you see before you is 2 decades of therapy. I'm still in therapy. Shout out to Dr. Cheyenne Bryan.
I've heard that.
Mental health is a
Doc B.
Yes, mental health is a lifestyle.
Yes.
But this is 2 decades of therapy. And so what I say is stop lying to yourself. Get to the baseline of who you are and what you're really feeling. Wake up in the morning and just say, okay, am I angry? Am I resentful? Am I sad? Because you can't really get to the quote, what they say, best version of yourself without knowing what your foundation is and where you are. And everybody has a different baseline. And so that's one of the practical tips that I talk about is really get honest. And it could be ugly. And it was ugly for me on multiple occasions because I went through all of those emotions.
That's crazy. And you talk a lot about grit. How is grit different from just, trying to be strong?
Oh, that's
just like
Triggs, I'm impressed. That's a really good question. I like that.
This is Triggs Table Talks, boy. We don't hold back.
I like that. Yes, you're right, because grit isn't just trying to be strong. Grit is do it anyway. That's what the grit is. I don't feel like it. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm emotional. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it anyway. That's the grit. When nothing else makes sense, I'm going to do it anyway.
Seems like me every day when I go to work.
Exactly. It's like, come on, we can do it. Just do it anyway.
When I go to the gym and I'm just hating life and I'm like, just push through, and I feel so much better afterwards.
It's true.
That's how it works. That's how it works. You say healing isn't about getting over it; it's about building around it and going through it. What does that mean for people that are still in pain?
Yeah.
How does that go?
So I think an important insert, not barring mental health issues, right? So there are some of us that are not seeking assistance. There's some of us that are not taking the medication that's necessary. Some of us need that, right? And so, understanding, I forgot what your question was, but I wanted to put that insert in and saying that sometimes some of us need some additional help and not being afraid to tap into that and find out what that is so that you can get to the other side.
Right. Yeah, so why do you think so many people are kind of hiding their healing instead of like showing it honestly like yourself?
Oh, yeah, because it's not pretty all the time.
It's not buttoned up. It's not presentable. Yeah.
I look pretty today.
Sometimes you got to ugly cry it out.
You do. And that's what I try to be authentic on my Instagram, on my social media, and really kind of show. I'm working on a YouTube series, so that's coming out soon. It might be out by the time this comes out too.
Perfect.
So it's called Widow Diaries. So it's about all the ugly things, the bad dating decisions that was made.
No, I understand.
But you're right. It's not for everybody, but just being able to be more so honest with yourself and strip everything away and be that for yourself than to do that for anyone, for the public.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like you don't really think about these things because, and I also believe it's like a cultural thing too. Some cultures maybe tap more into it and some are like more like private when it comes to those things.
I like the way, well, let's just call it out. So my husband was a Black Jamaican man from Brooklyn, New York, right? So if the roles were reversed, would he be sitting here Absolutely not. So, to your point, like there is a cultural change in that, and that's what I'm trying to shift because you're right. It is very, very not for us in the grieving kind of what does it actually look like, and it isolates us.
Right.
You know, because it makes us feel like what I'm feeling, no one else is feeling. Like it's, you know, and that's what I want to show is that, you know, there are, what you're feeling is normal.
Right.
You know, and I want to give that back to everyone out there.
So, you know, after your husband's death, when did you have that first like sparkle of joy or something that just kind of like snapped you out of the grieving, at least for like a moment or so? Was it like going out to dinner and having a good meal, or was it something that your child did that just like, you know, made you think like it's going to be okay? Like when was that the first time you experienced a little bit of joy after the death, and what was that?
Really? That's a good, Triggs. Wow. Okay. That's a good
I won't
question.
put you to work today.
And when I said, I know, you did your homework. Wait a minute. I should have came prepared. Hold on. No one's ever asked me that question, which is why I say that. So I actually felt it at his memorial.
Okay.
Because over 100 people showed up. And he didn't believe in being buried. He was cremated. He didn't believe in a funeral because he felt like it was a scam, just saying. I mean, again.
To be quite honest, I kind of feel that same way.
You know what I mean? It's like
I feel the same way. I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated, and I don't necessarily want a funeral, but I want people to be hyped. Like, I don't want people to be like, you know.
Yes,
really...
and that's exactly how he was. And he was like, do not have a party, have a barbecue, whatever. So we went to our favorite park, and I wore a brand new workout outfit. It was a cream workout outfit, and everybody came. The kids played football.
Yeah.
And the support and the love that I received. I had friends fly in from out of town a few days before to help put everything together. I'm getting goosebumps because no one's ever asked me that question. And I have video of me dancing and playing Spanish, and we're dancing like on it because this is what he would have wanted, you know, and he would have wanted to see that his family is thriving. And he had that conversation with me one time because he can only handle it one time. And he said, I want you to live this life.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he told me that. And you know, Brene Brown asked, what's a bittersweet moment? And I say bitter that he had cancer, sweet that he had cancer, in a sense that it gave us 2 years, you know, and that's another. Instead of losing him so abruptly. Right, and so we had 2 years, so I had the privilege, I'd say, gently, for anticipatory grief. You know, and kind of worked through it, had a lot of conversations with him. It wasn't easy. You know, we were all grieving and going through a lot of things. But I was able to ask him everything I ever wanted, and nothing was left unsaid. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people don't get that opportunity to, like, to some degree, have closure. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And so, especially for someone that, you know, passed so young. What is something that you have learned in therapy, you know, whether it be back then or, you know, more recently, I would say more recently, that you wish you could have applied, like, you know, years ago when this happened, you know, almost 2.5, 3 years ago? Yeah. It was a really pivotal moment when I thought that I was living in my victor stamina because I felt pretty confident. And I realized, and it's so funny because, and I don't mind saying I'm a client of Dr. Bryant's, and you know, she doesn't miss a beat on anything, you know, and she gives it to you good. Yeah. And so I remember just casually saying something, and I realized that the things that I was saying was putting me in a victim mode, you know? And so I would say things like, you know, no one shows up for me. I'm doing this on my own. But I thought I was saying it from a strong, confident place of saying, I'm doing this on my own. No one's showing up for me. But it's a very victim mindset to say it that way. Right. Instead of saying, I'm strong, I'm doing everything that I can to put myself in good positions, I'm tapping into that victim mode that, you know. No, I got you. Yeah. So what do you want your legacy to represent? Not just about loss, but about your rise. I really should have done my homework. What was I thinking? You thought I was about to throw those softball questions? Softballs to me. Wait a minute. Hold on. What do I want my legacy to be? I want, okay, this is in my playbook too. I wrote about this and I said, there was a time when someone said to me they had an issue with someone because they would help them and then they would move on and get too big for their britches.
Mm-hmm.
And I told that person, I want to be too big for my britches.
Okay.
I look for, and I got that from Oprah. She said that in her interview. She said, I look to be too big for my britches so that my cup runneth over, so that I could have enough to service others. Right. And so when I started this company, I made the decision that if I could help one woman to say, hey, I'm in the middle, I'm having the grief, but I see me on the other side. I just don't know how to get there. Mm-hmm. If they tell me, which has actually already happened, which is like, I feel like I can just stop today, you know, because if I could help one woman to say, oh my God, thank you so much for telling your story because I thought I was the only one out here. That's the legacy that I want to leave here.
I can only imagine. As you've rebuilt your life, how did your relationship with your body evolve? Because normally during grief, people lose drastic weight or they gain drastic weight. And, you know, I'm a plastic surgeon, so I've seen it from both ends. And like, I just want to get back to me or feel like I'm getting back to me. And this is like my first step in the process. So have you encountered that with any of your clients or just your own personal, journey in terms of like, dealing with the outward versus the inward?
Oh, yeah. So, I feel like I'm aging backwards.
Hey, that's good. That's super good.
So, and this is a tricky thing that you can't just say but so if you think about it, I was a mom, I had a career, I was a wife, I helped to co-manage the household. I was doing a lot of things, and I was a primary caregiver, meaning he did not touch a doctor's appointment. He never touched a pill. I was that person. And so when he died, it was like all of this space that I didn't have to do. Mm-hmm. And so I focused on me, and I started working out. I started paying attention to what I eat. Even right now, I'm on a sugar detox. I always do a detox between the 1st and the 18th in honor of him. Mm-hmm. I slipped up a couple times. But I love you, Dwayne.
I've tried so many times to do no sugar, but sugar's in everything.
No, it is everything. So this is what you do. You do I don't drink sugary drinks and I don't eat candy.
I feel like there's a lot of shade in this program.
I don't walk into the store and buy a bag of candy. So those are the things that you can't help. I was telling someone the other day, sugar's in ketchup. It's in that honey mustard sauce at Chick-fil-A.
Yep, it is.
It's
in everything. That's why it's so hard.
So you just kind of, balance it and say, let me at least start with what I know versus what is, and then you go to the next level. But to answer your question, I feel like I'm aging backwards. I'm a woman of a particular age. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about grief and loss and all of that, and then you add in perimenopause or menopause, it's not a game, people. Not a game. It's not funny at all. But I took advantage of that space is what I'm saying. I took advantage of, if I was able to do all of that, then by God, I can pour into myself. Right. And so that's kind of...
Do you think a physical transformation can be a part of emotional empowerment with grief and trauma?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When I look good, I feel good.
Yeah.
And I trick the brain. I think people don't understand that your brain is what you tell it.
Right.
It's how you show up in it. And the only way that I can... And I did it in practice, actually, because if I am unable to do anything for the day or, I'm just really down and out, it goes into the next day and the next day. But if I go into that grit, like we were talking about earlier, and I do it anyway, and I get that shower, and I go ahead and do something with the face, and I, whatever, then I feel better. Right. Because my brain doesn't know any difference. And I'll give you one small trick. When you are feeling like really sad and really down and out, go in the mirror and smile. Laugh and smile at yourself. I guarantee you're going to see a boost.
Okay.
It feels really silly and funny, but your brain has no idea that you're not actually happy.
That's a good point.
It's the weirdest thing.
I like that a lot. So at this moment, I want to hit you with some rapid fire questions. And you got to be quick about it. I don't want you thinking too hard or, trying to look in your phone. These are like high end questions that must be answered quickly.
Okay. Let's
All right.
see.
The first one. First thing you do every morning. Fail.
Well, no, but no. Okay, can I explain?
Yeah.
So the reason why I couldn't rapid fire that because I've been traveling. I'm on this press tour, so it's
Okay.
like I'm in a hotel, I'm flying, I'm in the air, like so I can't. I'm like, when was the last time I was even in a stable place
Right.
to even know was the first thing I do? Grab my phone. If I'm traveling,
Okay.
but see, I'm against that, right? So
Right.
if I'm home, I'm not grabbing my phone. If I'm home, honestly, I look out my patio and I have a moment of stillness. But I didn't think that was fair to say because I'm not doing that right now. So.
I got you. All right. A song that got you through your hardest season.
Oh, there's so many of them. I Need You Now by Smokey Norfolk.
Okay. That's a good one. I like that.
That's the one that comes off the top of my head.
One word that defines this new version of you.
Activated.
Okay. I like that. Activated. What would your husband say about who you've become today?
I told you. Oh, now you're gonna make me cry.
That's beautiful. I told you. I love that. I love that.
See, that was rapid fire.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Woo.
Damn, we should have had some tissue over here. My bad. I'm sorry. All right, moving on. I think I mixed something up. Oh, here we go. All right, we talked about that. You often talk about sovereignty, owning your storing and your healing. What does sovereignty mean to you now? Has that even changed when you use the word sovereignty?
When I use the word sovereignty, it means that I am grounded and authentic to whoever and whatever I am in that moment.
Right.
And the reason that I say that is because that changes often. And so what people have to understand, and every single person experiences grief. It is not linear.
Right.
It is not a stage. Oh my God, if we can take that word away.
The stages.
It is waves. It comes in, it comes out. And so having sovereignty is just being authentically who I am in that moment and owning that person at that time.
Right. For someone that's watching this that was you 3 years ago and they feel completely stuck, what's one small step they can do today to start their journey to the glow up?
Being kind to themselves. I heard a quote a while back that said, I've never been here before. And I wrote it down, I put ... and I put it in 3 different places. And I said, I've never been here before. I have a 16-year-old now who is 6'4" and 180 pounds. He's my man child.
Hey, that's my exact measurements when I was
No way.
when I was 16.
He wears a size 13.
Same, yep.
Oh, wait, how tall are you now?
I'm still 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah,
I think he's...
once I hit, when I was a senior, I was 6'4", 185, size 13 and a half, and I think I might be 6'4" and a half now, but yeah.
Yeah, I think because his feet hasn't gotten any bigger in 2.5 years. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's now filling out.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah.
What's up with it?
What's up? Exactly. So I say that to say that I've never been here before. I've never been a 47-year-old woman. I do not mind saying my age. He'll be 48 in December.
I did not know you were 47. I really thought you were in your mid-30s.
No. So I'll be 48 years old with a 16-year-old, with a teenager who's a junior in high school, who's running her own business, who's also grieving, who's also has a grieving child, who's also a house manager, managing everything financially, just all the stuff. And so what I would say to someone is be kind to yourself because you've never been in this moment right now. Right? So you're doing the best that you can with the information that you have. I challenge you to get better quality information and do better, right? But be kind to yourself is what I would say.
Gotcha. Finish this sentence. Grief doesn't end when... ...
Grief doesn't end when you live life and have joy and you have peace and you can smile and you can have interviews at the table talks.
Yeah,
Triggs,
that's right.
At the Triggs Table Talks. Grief doesn't end when you start to live.
Right.
Grief then becomes part of, you build a life around the grief.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope. What does rising again look like for Donielle today?
Oh, rising again looks like continuing creating a life of peace and joy and owning it.
Right.
And being intentional about the things that I do and rest.
Definitely have to rest.
Rest.
I meant to ask you this earlier in the interview. How do you feel about, I guess, like the cultural stigma against like celebrities like Vanessa Bryant and like Lauren London, who've lost these like they're influential in themselves, but these influential husbands, and it's almost like they're so under the microscope. It's like you can tell that they're not able to kind of be who they want to be or start to date and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's hard, right? And not just in grief. I think any celebrity or any public figure, it's hard when they're experiencing that. It becomes a challenge when they do want to explore other things and people are just watching and judging a lot.
Super judgy.
I actually had an incident where I started to date. And I had a boyfriend actually about a year after my husband passed away, and his family ostracized me for it. And it's just one of those things like, I say, look, I mean, have you seen me? Like, is this all is just supposed to go to waste? Like, and it's like, if you have a timeline for it, what's your timeline? When should it be? You know what I mean? It's like, I want to ask them,
Right.
like, is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? Is it 4 years? Is it in my 60s? I should wait. Like, what does that really look like? And so, unfortunately, them being and Lauren London, oh my God, what a beautiful soul she is. I remember I watched her video before I became a widow when he was in hospice and dying. And I really resonated with a lot of what she was saying and what she was processing and going through. And
it was around that time, right?
Yeah.
All that happened.
Yeah. So she really touched me. And I think it's difficult, right? And I think, if I'm being honest, it's Nene Leakes, because she lost her husband to colon cancer. They unfortunately don't, they have their own things that they have going on, and they haven't made that path to kind of say, hey, I want to talk about what life is like being a widow. So, I don't have any feeling one way or the other about it, other than, it's tough and it's hard any way you look at it.
Absolutely. Well, Donielle, I want to thank you for being here and telling your story.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Telling us all these great things. So I know you have another project on its way, getting ready to come out in a week, right?
Yes.
Or in like 6 days.
Yes.
So what do you have cooking up over there?
Yes. So I wrote a playbook. It's called the G3 Playbook, From Grief Through Grit to the Glow Up.
Yep.
And so it is a book with practical guides, journal prompts, and just practical things. And it also has little teas of my stories through the grief and the grit. There's a lot of stuff about widowhood and dating while widowed. There's some things about just kind of how you process and get to the glow up phase. What does that look like? Creating new friendships. Going ahead and understanding relationships that you have and some that you have to let go. And how do I let go of them? How do I not have guilt and shame? But I want to have joy, but I don't want to have guilt and shame with the joy.
Right.
So, so my G3 Playbook is on a link in my bio right now.
Right.
And
Can you say your handle for us?
Yes. Oh, gosh. So my handle is My Husband Died So. And it's my husband died, so now what?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very bold about that because I wanted in your face.
It's eye catching. It'll catch your attention. I was like, well,
Yes.
who was this?
Yes. And
Yeah.
so it can be, and you know, some people have had some conversations with me on whether it's scalable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted something in your face, and I wanted to take the stigma away. And that's why we came up with also the Grief Disruptor as my title and tagline. But so at My Husband Died So, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm always doing funny stuff.
And YouTube as well.
And YouTube as well, yep. And I'm always doing funny, you know, just a day in the life of what it's like to be a widow in 2025, a modern widow, yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you for this conversation. I mean, for someone that hasn't really, lost, big significant figures in their life, knock on wood, this was very eye-catching and telling to me. And so I really appreciate you being here and telling this very, very vulnerable story. So thank you for being on Triggs Table Talks.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time.
I know. I told you it wasn't going to be too bad.
Yes,
I told you.
yes, thank you.
With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you know anyone that would need this type of information, death is a common part of life. The information is down below. Contact, reach out, share this video. Also with all content, click like, subscribe, Triggs Table Talks. And also if you're thinking about transforming your body, I am a plastic surgeon. Click like, subscribe. And remember, your consultation is completely free with me. And hopefully we can give you that dream body you've been looking for. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to Triggs Table Talks, and I'll see you soon.
Yay!